What's up, YouTube? Serge Placer the second here again, my YouTube channel, Frankenstein 1, and today I'm going to be doing another uh, book review on some of the books that I have read. And of course, it's one of my favorite horror classics of all time, going back to the early 19th century by one of my favorite authors of all time, Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley. And of course, it's the number one horror novel that I have fallen in love with, and that would be the original Frankenstein, or as it was when she first published it, Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus. So we all know that the storyline, how it all starts off with Captain Robert Bolton, who's exploring all the way to the Arctic, and all of a sudden sees two figures out in the snow. The first one would be the monster, which they didn't even know at first, and then later on they find Victor Frankenstein out in an ice raft in a sled, and his dogs are all dead. And of course, we all know that once on board, Victor Frankenstein explains his whole story, and then later on, he later meets up with the monster and explains his life story from the beginning, once he was brought to life, and up to the point where Victor's youngest brother, William Frankenstein, is killed at the monster's hands. So we all know how it all starts from the beginning and how it ends. Victor dies and fails to destroy the thing he created after causing so much hell for him by killing the closest people he loved. So this has always been one of my favorite books. So I've always had an interest in Frankenstein since I was a kid. I'm going to tell you the truth right now. I first started watching the old films from the 30s and 40s when I was about 6 years old. Well, originally, if you remember the show The Munsters from the early 60s, that's when I started watching that show when it used to come at on Nickelodeon at night, or it was known back then, Nick at Night. And then that's when I stumbled across the old films. I was originally scared of the original Frankenstein movie, but after many years later, I watched it again. I wasn't even scared anymore, but I still had a good interest. Actually, originally, I started watching Dracula first, and then with Frankenstein. As a matter of fact, I've read this book like 4 or 5 times, and I have like other editions. Actually, I have the original 1818 original edition. This one right here is actually the 1831 edition, which all the other mini versions are right now. But you can still find the original 1818 edition. But like I said, this is still the original 1831 edition of Frankenstein, in which, of course, like all the other editions, it's still based on the 1831 edition. And here's a copy of Frankenstein, another copy right here, and a different edition, which is this one right here. What I like about this one, it has like a little side notes and a little and of course some history of some medical science like galvanism, because that's like the what galvanism is, electroshock therapy, which is basically the closest thing to reanimating a corpse. Tells you a lot of interesting medical history, and of course other things going back to the 18th and 19th century, and of course it has pictures of the past, and of course here's a picture of Mary Shelley, if you can see right here, and of course also pictures of this describing the monster right here as well. So this edition right here, also part of the 1831 edition, I fell in love with the most. And even though I've read this one, and of course a young adult version of the of the book too, which still kind of counts because it's the same storyline. So this is this is so far my number one favorite horror novel of the classical era, I should say. So I've so that's why I have more of an interest in horror novels to this day, but mostly the classics, of course, like Dracula and The Phantom of the Opera, of course. So that ends it right here for this review. So tell me what you think in the comments below. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell below for more book review updates. Follow me on Instagram at Sergio2, at Sergio2. Email me, Sergio26 at yahoo.com. All right, this wraps it up. Take care now. Bye.